Hello, YouTube. Good to see you. Welcome to another week of your weight loss journey. How's it going? So, hey, if you got any scale victories to celebrate, let's celebrate. I love celebrating me a good scale victory. That camera's a little crooked, but I think it should be fine. I'm gonna have to go get my iPad here in a minute because it's what controls my keynote. But I definitely want to do. I've got a presentation that I'm preparing for you, I've prepared. It's something I do in the guild, and it's really powerful and important, and I think it'll benefit you to listen to and to hear. So stay tuned for that. That's coming a little bit later in the live stream. And if you want more like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I go live, so I'm told. I'd love to have you do that. If you're new here, my name is Chris Terrell. I'm a weight loss coach. I've lost 125 pounds myself, and I've kept it off, and which is the really important part. Lots of people have lost weight. Lots of people have lost 100 plus pounds. The keeping it off part, it's the difference. No weight loss surgery, no Ozempic Wegovy, no fad diets. It genuinely was just, I changed my life. I did the things that people talk about. I changed what's going on in here. I changed what's going on in here. And I changed the way I actually live my life. And that was a big, big, big difference. So I've got TikTok right here on the phone. I'm going to leave them up so you all can see them. I'll occasionally turn and talk to TikTok, and TikTok, you'll be seeing me over here talking to YouTube. I'd love to invite you all on TikTok to come over to YouTube. You can find a link to that at YouTube by typing in Chris Terrell Coaching, and it'll pull up. You'll see the live stream. You can come on and join right in. Would love to have you here. Let's go to the comment section in the chat and see what we got. Hold on. Let me get everything queued up over here on my board. All right. We're going to just go ahead and go to our first comment here, which comes from Joe. Joe is over here telling us about something pretty impressive. Joe has lost 30 pounds. What? 30 pounds since February. That's fantastic. Oh, that's amazing. That's what winning looks like. I love to hear about being 30 pounds down since January. And that sounds like a good pace. That sounds like a reasonable pace. So, Joe, congratulations. Glad you're doing that. Morgan, welcome to coming over here from TikTok. I see, Morgan, you were over there, and now you're over there. Hey, the rest of y'all, you could go from here to there. It's a better show. It's a better show. All right. Thank you, Missy. Yes, welcome, welcome. And, hey, we got something else to celebrate. Morgan came over here from TikTok. I think we might as well go ahead and celebrate what she had to tell us, which is she lost, or wait, is it a he or she? I'm totally just assuming. Morgan lost 200 pounds by diet and exercise. What? Wow. 200 pounds by diet and exercise. 200 pounds and kept it off by loving myself. Very important part, that second part. Very important part. Hey, another fellow person from TikTok. You were over there. Now you're over here. What's it like? Is it a cooler party over here? I hope you like the party more. Morgan, thank you. I can see you got a profile picture here. It's just really small, and I can't tell. I think that's you wearing a dress on the left, but I'm not 100% sure because, again, it's an itty-bitty picture for me. Hope down 8 pounds since last month. 8 pounds. That's a big win. Big win. That result is what we say is fire. Excellent job, Hope. Excellent job. All right. All right. Let's keep going here in the comments. If you got a scale victory, be sure to drop it down below because I want to celebrate with you. I love celebrating a big win. Those are always fun. All right. Misty, yes, thank you. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. Somewhere on your screen, there's an opportunity where you can give it a like, but that works as well. All right. Ooh, Jacob. Had my oh shit moment on June 15th, 1 month later. Weighed in this morning. Down 11 pounds! 11 pounds! I love it. 11 pounds. I love a result like that. How do you feel about it, Jacob? That's actually what I'm more important to learn is how do you feel about that win? I need more sound effects. Y'all over here, you don't realize this, but we're celebrating with sound effects and with music, and I don't want you to miss it. So come on over to YouTube. All right. I got to stop saying all right. I keep saying that. All right, I'm going through the comments here on YouTube. We got a bunch of good mornings, like good morning, Bree. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Misty. Good morning, Devin. Marlo. Good to see you, Marlo. Good morning from Louisiana. Love these Monday morning YouTube lives. You're welcome. I love these too. I love these too. I believe someone earlier, I think it was Misty, was it who said that she likes, yeah, it's right here. Really appreciate these live Monday kickoffs. Feels a lot like signing off on the last week and opening a fresh page. I think it's a great way to look at it. Why not? Hey, last week's over. Let's kick off a new week. Let's see. Just told Mike to hop on. Yeah, excellent. Love to have Mike swing on by. Fantastic. It shows what I've been doing is working. Yes, I'm glad to hear you feel fantastic about your results. And that's what I like. You don't want to derive emotional gratification from standpoint of I'm a better person. I'm a success because I've lost weight. No, your success is a state of mind, not an outcome. But what I like is you're allowing yourself to recognize that the progress on the scale goes, my strategy's working. Matthew, hey there. Would you recommend getting your eating under control before joining the gym? I would recommend doing both. Unless you find both to be overwhelming and you can only do one. And if you're only going to do one, then it would be get your eating under control. Hands down. That would be where I would start. Get your eating under control. But again, do both. Let's be real. Getting your eating under control is going to take a long time. You're not going to get it under control in a month. You might think you have it under control, but you're not going to know until you've been tested. You have to be tested. That's the only way. You have to be tested. So, yeah, do both. That's what I'd say. And exercising might help you do both because you need something to do. When you're realize you're hungry, not because you're physically hungry, but because you are craving a food, you need something to go do. You need something to kill time. And going to the gym can be a great way to kill some time. Highly recommend that. And don't focus on hey, am I doing the best workout? Am I doing the most optimal workout? Don't focus on that. Instead, just focus on, am I showing up? You got the right headspace of, here, let me pull the question up so people can remember where we're at. You got the right headspace of getting my eating under control. I just want to temper expectations and remind you this is going to take a long time. It was 4 years before I felt like I had it under control. I was doing well with it pretty quickly, but life kept showing up and testing me. And my body kept changing, and I had to keep adjusting, and my lifestyle kept changing, and I had to keep adjusting. You've got to make adjustments to your strategy all the time. You're constantly making adjustments. And as a result of that, it's not like I felt like I was under control all the time. Because a lot of times it's all right, I felt like I was under control until this most recent thing happened. The pandemic happened in my journey. I did not feel under control the first couple of months after the pandemic started. All right, let's look over here on TikTok, see if we got any questions. Your TikToks aren't great. That's a fun name. We got a question over here from TikTok. I lost 110 pounds recently. I've been relapsing and eating a bunch last week. Any tips? I just lost 110 pounds. So first, big congratulations for losing 110 pounds. Massive, massive congratulations. Loving that result for you. But recently you've been relapsing and eating a bunch. This is why it is so important that you adopt a maintenance mindset from day zero. You must have a maintenance mindset because you're going to quit losing weight at some point. You're going to. All of you. You're going to. It's either going to be because you burn out and you stop, or it's going to be because you reached your goal weight and you're done. Or it's going to be because you settled at some half-ass number rather than continuing on to the body of your dreams, right? But either way, you're going to quit. And at some point when you quit, I need you to not go gaining your weight back. The whole point is to have a one-way ticket down to Thinville, not a round-trip ticket. So you must prioritize losing weight. So what I'm seeing here, your TikToks aren't great, is this shows me you don't have a clue how to maintain weight. You've put all your effort into learning how to lose weight, and as a result, you don't have a clue how to maintain it. Now you've done all this work, put all this effort into losing weight, and now you don't know how to keep it off. And you might be thinking, oh, I got to go back on a diet. No, you have to maintain your weight. That's a completely separate initiative, and dieting don't teach you how to maintain weight. That's a very, very different thing. Very, very different thing. All right, let's come over here back to TikTok, or not TikTok, your TikTok, YouTube, and let's take some questions over here. Looking around to see which means, oh, we got a win. Let's go ahead and read that win from Paula. I lost another pound last week, which means 17 total pounds. 3 away from and closer to my goal. What? Mind blown. Where's my button? That's how we do it. 17 pounds. Whew. Thank you, Paula. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to celebrate again. I love celebrating. Journey with Rosie. Hello, Journey with Rosie. What tips could you give for staying consistent when struggling with depression? What tips could you give for staying consistent when struggling with depression? Well, I mean, there's a lot that could be said with that question. What is the, when you say struggling with depression, if we were talking one-on-one, like in a client interaction, I would want to gain an understanding of how the depression is affecting you. Like, how is it actually affecting your ability to stay consistent? I don't like to jump to conclusions. I mean, sure, I could paint a picture in my mind of what I think it's doing to you, but I would just be making a wild assumption. I may or may not be accurate. So I would start by asking you questions like, how is it affecting your consistency? And you'd probably give me an answer, and I'd say, okay, help me understand it. Like, I would question it. As soon as whatever answer you gave me, I would just not accept it. I would challenge it. And here's why I do that. Because truth can withstand scrutiny. So if something is an actual obstacle to your success, it should be able to handle me poking it a little bit. If the moment I start poking your excuse, it disintegrates, it's a shitty excuse. And that just means it's not the real excuse. It's just a scapegoat. It's a red herring. Because we got to get to the core of this. So that's one thing I would do, is want to understand how is it affecting you. The second thing I would do is I would ask you, how are you managing your depression? Or are you letting the depression manage you and you're just letting it take you for a ride? Because if you're just letting it take you for a ride, there's no point in doing anything else. You need to get your depression under control. Like, it's going to be a gigantic barrier to success. Going and seeking success and weight loss without dealing with the depression isn't going to work. Because unfortunately, you might derive the wrong lesson, which is losing weight makes my depression better, which is not true. The last thing I would want somebody thinking is that losing weight is going to cure your depression issues. It's not. You just find something else to be depressed about. So you've got to go on the offensive with your depression. You can't just be at effect to it. You can't be a victim to your depression. It's going to happen. Look, you're going to have days where your battle ain't much. Like you fought hard just to get out of bed for some people. Sometimes when you're battling depression, victory that day is I got out of bed. Okay, that's fine. But I don't want you grinding your way through it. I don't want you to be on defense with depression. I want you to be on offense with depression. Look at your life and go, what are the proactive measures I could be doing that would help me manage my depression? Let me do all those. Let me do them. Oh, well, my depression stops me from doing it. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to figure out some way to close that gap. I don't know what to tell you. If you got to get on medication, get on medication. You got to get a therapist to help you close the gap, do that. You got to get a coach to help you close the gap, do that. You got to get a buddy to help you close the gap, do that. You got to go look yourself in the mirror and give yourself a pep talk and say, I'm going to put my big girl panties on and go make this day my bitch. Then you do that. I don't care what you got to do, but you're going to have to do something to get yourself to do the basics to get on the offensive with your depression. These are things like getting plenty of sleep, but not too much sleep. Because, depression might leave you wanting to sleep around all day. You got to get your ass up. Go be miserable on the couch, right? You can be miserable lots of different places. And you might have to remind yourself that. I'm depressed. Okay, you can be depressed in bed, or you can be depressed on a chair where there's sunlight hitting your face. You pick. One of them, I don't know. Look, I've dealt with depression before, and I know how hard it can be to get yourself to go do the basics. but you have no choice. Like, you have no choice. You got to go do the basics. This can mean doing things like going on a walk. Maybe you get yourself a pet and you take care of this pet. It'll give you something to work for, to strive and take care of something outside of yourself. If you need to watch your hydration, watch your diet, watch the alcohol, watch the drug use, watch the way you're spending your time. You got to work on all of that stuff. All of that stuff. Because if you're just sitting there letting depression slap you around all over the place and you're not seeing a doctor and you're not taking medications if they're needed, you're not doing any proactive therapy, you're not doing any CBT techniques, we just gonna have to wait till you're ready to do some of that stuff. That's just it. We just gonna wait. And that's okay. Sometimes when you're depressed, you gotta just take a step back from life. And that's okay. Sometimes that's just a phase you're in. But if when I read this, like, I'm seeing you're wanting to get progress. How do you stay consistent with, I'm assuming, weight loss? That's telling me you want to make progress. So a part of you doesn't want to just sit around and take this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking this question. Stephen Marlin, you've talked about NEAT movement before. I have. I've gone to the gym and done 2 days and plateaued, then gone once a day and found success. Is it possible to work out too much? Stephen, you are paying attention to the scale way too much. Like, everything you just said is irrelevant. Because you're talking about you've done 2 days and plateaued and then found success. Like, the scale, no. I'm only interested in what the scale does over the course of 2 weeks. What's the trend? Where's the trend pointed? If you're looking at, like, today I lost weight, so I was successful. Today I gained a pound or I maintained weight. That means you're ignoring the fact that your body weight is going to fluctuate all the time, no matter what you do. There's nothing you can do to stop your body weight from fluctuating. And so you could do everything, quote unquote, right, and the scale is going to go up 3 pounds, because that's not how the scale doesn't work the way most of us wished it would. So in this case, nah, Stephen, you're just focusing you're trying to see results on the scale too fast. Try 2 weeks. 2 weeks should be your smallest unit of measurement. Matthew, thank you. You're welcome. I do find your positivity encouraging. I did a Tai Chi yoga class this weekend, and it kicked my butt. I've never tried Tai Chi. I might have to try that again. Also now use my Vitamix to, I didn't see the rest of it. Derek P. How often should I be weighing myself? I don't know whether I should be focusing on tracking my progress with the scale or not, because I put too much stock on whether it moves or not. My advice is you should at least weigh in once a week, once every other week at a minimum, unless the scale is really messing with your brain, then go to once a month. I'm not a fan of going more than once a month. That's what fat people do. Fat people go more than once a month and looking because they can't handle what the number shows. That's very different than a thin person that doesn't weigh in because they just aren't bothered by it and they have other metrics they use to take care of their body. If you're just stepping away from the scale, but you have no other metric that you're using to see how your body is doing and if what you're doing is working, you're going to have to use a scale. So I do not support going more than once a month without weighing in for somebody on a 100+ pound journey. You need the data. At a certain point, you just need to look at it. You need to have your nose rubbed in it. If you're not doing good, you do. You need to feel bad about it. You need to be like, oh, I'm not doing good. Because hopefully that guilty feeling will compel you to do something about it. You know, a lot of the problem with obesity is we prevent ourselves from, we think it's bad to feel any sort of discomfort. And we think it's bad that we make someone feel some sort of discomfort. I personally don't care if going to the doctor and you see your body weight and it triggers you. I don't care. I hope it triggers you. I hope it pisses you the fuck off and you go and do something about it. That's what I look at it. So now, at home, you got to be mindful. If you're doing it every day and it's thrashing you, that's no good. So the simple answer is you should weigh in as often as you can because you need the data. The caveat to that is we can't let the data and the scale cause you to make different decisions in your life and then you stop doing what you need to do. And so the amount you weigh in is going to vary depending on where you're at in your life. But here's what I do to keep it consistent. Every time before I step on the scale, I ask myself 2 questions. Number 1, am I proud of the effort I put in since the last time I was here at the scale? If the answer is yes, I can proceed to question 2. If the answer is no, I just walk away from the scale. If I'm not proud of the effort I put in since the last time I stood at the scale, I move on. Question number 2, is there anything the scale can show me that would change the answer to question 1? So let's say I'm proud of the effort I put in. And I go, okay, but could the scale show me a number that would change that? Like, let's say I went up 3 pounds. Would that change how I feel about it? If the answer is yes, I'll walk away from the scale. Because I'm not going to let the scale dictate my mood. The scale ain't my boss. I don't worship the scale. I don't bow down at the altar of the number of the scale anymore. I know that the number on the scale doesn't indicate how happy I am. I truly hope every single one of you lose every single pound so that you'll see that it's not going to make you happy. I mean, I really do. I hope every single one of you do that. And then you find that empty feeling on the other side of it so that you'll actually then start doing the work of learning to accept yourself. Matthew, I've been told to weigh in once a month and in the middle, just how your clothes feel and how do you feel. There's no one right answer for how often you should weigh it on the scale. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to vary, but I think the one right thing is don't get on the scale if you're going to let it emotionally thrash you and dictate your mood. All right, let's see if we got any other questions here to answer. All right, let's come over here to TikTok, see if we got a question to look at. Blue J851. Having problem with nighttime eating, on maintenance and not gaining, but trying to break this habit. Any help? You just need to sit down and define some sort of rules for yourself, whatever they are, and just stick to them for the night. And my wife, she likes to brush her teeth at a certain point when she closes her mouth for the night for food. She goes and brushes her teeth. I have just certain snacks that I let myself have. I have a certain calorie limit, and I stick within that. So if you're having a problem with nighttime eating, maybe just give yourself an evening calorie budget and just monitor it and make sure you stay below it and just say, look, as long as I don't go above this, I'm fine. And make sure when you're eating snacks, you're getting some stuff with protein and maybe even a little bit of stuff with fiber, and that'll help. That would help. All right, one moment. I'm going to go over there and get my iPad. We're going to jump to the discussion topic, the lesson that I've prepared for you today. So let me go grab that. Okay, so in my membership, the Guild, I do presentations, lessons, and I try to teach in detail all things mindset. And I go into great detail. Like, I'll give you the high-level overview, but throughout the Guild, we break everything down into teeny tiny details. I mean, we really get intricate. Because you've got to learn this stuff. If I just hand you the answers to everything, I'm not doing you any favors. What's the old parable? You teach a man to fish, you feed him for, or give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a person to fish, you feed him for a life. Well, that's essentially what I'm wanting to do with you. I want to teach you how to maintain your weight forever and through all different circumstances and situations. And the only way I can do that is I have to teach you the principles and the philosophies so that you know how to apply it. And one of the biggest things that you're going to have to overcome if you have spent the majority of your adult life overweight is you're going to need to address fear. You're going to need to create a new relationship with fear. You're going to need to understand how it works. And you're going to need to understand how it changes. So this is a presentation I've done in the Guild. It's going to be a little bit shortened for YouTube. But I wanted to teach you this principle. And this is going to be all mindset. And look, people's understanding of mindset at different levels, I don't know what level you're at. So I'll do my best to talk about this at various levels of understanding. But if I dumb it down too much, and when I say dumb it down, as in like I take the complex stuff and reduce them down in a way that are more approachable to someone new to the mindset game. If I do that, people that are more advanced don't learn anything. And if I just talk to them, the more advanced people, it's so unapproachable to somebody that's new to the mindset game that you can't go with it. So what I'm attempting to do today is land somewhere in the middle. It's my hopes that if you're new to the mindset game, you're definitely going to have some stuff you can latch onto. And maybe you can walk away with some new concepts and just one new idea or one new question to carry around with yourself to seek to answer. And if you're more advanced in the mindset game, my hopes are that today this will help awaken a new idea within you. I give you one new thought. So my goal is just to give you one new thing. If you walk away with one new idea, one new concept, my mission today will have been a success. Now, to give you the greatest chance of this happening, it would be advisable for you to take your metaphorical cup and empty it. Empty that cup out. Pour everything out. Because you cannot fill a cup that is already full. And if you're saying, I already know all this, I already know everything, you're not going to learn anything new. Because, yeah, you might know 99% of what I'm saying. But if you keep saying, I already know this, I already know this, I already know this, the thing you know will just go bloop, bloop. It'll just whiz right on by your mind and you'll miss it. So, with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown. All right. I want to tell you one of my favorite quotes from Albert Einstein. We can't solve our problem with the same thinking we used when we created them. This means to get results you've never had before, you must do things you've never done before. This was a vital understanding on my own weight loss journey, was recognizing that for me to get the success that has always been elusive, which was to lose every pound and keep it off forever, I was going to have to employ tactics, strategies, principles, and philosophies that I had never utilized before. If I used all the old tricks, I would get the old results. If I used all the old diets, I'd get the old results. And I didn't want to be insane anymore. Now, what's the definition of insanity? Well, we know this. That's doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping for a different result. It's the metaphorical fly running against the window. We don't want to be insane. We want to try new things. And so on this journey, we're very much going to deal with this. Oh, come on, keynote. There we go. So to accomplish something you have never previously achieved, you will need new thoughts and new actions. Far too often what we attempt to do is we attempt to change our actions, but leave our thinking in place. I don't want to change the way I think in my mind. I want to still draw the same conclusions. I want to still be triggered by the same things. I want to leave all my standards in place. The things that I think are acceptable now, I'm going to leave them acceptable. As an example, I once used to think it was acceptable to eat a half a box of Cheez-Its in an evening. I thought it was acceptable. And I didn't want to change that in my head. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a strong enough why can bear almost any how." And I really latched onto this in my journey and found it to be vitally important. Because anytime I was unwilling to progress, anytime there was something in front of me I was unwilling to do, like let's say I've got a special occasion in front of me and I want to pause my weight loss and go and maintain. That's because I want to party and enjoy volumes of food this weekend more than I want to lose weight. But more importantly, I want this fun weekend more than I want the reasons for losing weight. You see, reasons come first and answers come second, is what Tony Robbins says. And that is vital to understand. If you want to get to the end of the weight loss quest, you're going to endure many, many very difficult and hard circumstances. You're going to need a why to pull you through those. If you think, oh, I want to lose weight, if you think that's going to be enough to get you through a hard time, you're kidding yourself. It won't. You need a why. And you need lots of whys attached to your dream of getting to the body of your dreams. And this is why I think it's important that you attach the life of your dreams to the body of your dreams. Look at all the things that you would like to do in life that you cannot currently do. But if you had the body, you'd do it. For example, if you had my body that is capable of running, would you want to run? Or do you not want to run because you don't have a body that is capable of it? Something to consider. Now, to explain the concept of fear and how it works within the mind, we need to explain the mind. Now, the beauty of the human brain, mind, is it thinks in pictures. For most of us. There are some people that don't, but for the majority of us, we do think in pictures. And if I give you a picture, it'll help us understand the concept a little bit better. And this was very helpful for me in not only understanding my own weight loss journey, why I was successful, because I wanted to understand why was I successful. I wanted to be able to explain why I was successful to you so that you can get the same results in your life. And I needed language to teach me how to do it. And so I went to a mentor who taught me why I was successful, who helped me understand the success principles that I applied so that I could understand why the ones I did on purpose worked and where I got it right accidentally and why that worked as well. But one of the things that he taught me was what the mind looks like. Now, if I were to tell you, picture your home, I imagine in your mind's eye, you would concoct a picture or video or something of your home. And if I were to say, picture your fridge, does it open from the right or the left or the top or the bottom? You would know and you would have a picture of it. If I would say, picture your vehicle, you would probably be able to picture it. If I would say, picture your bed, you could see a picture of it because we think in pictures. If I say elephant, you'll probably think of an elephant, an image of that. Well, if I say mind, what do you think? Now, you might be tempted in that moment to think of the brain, but the brain isn't the mind, okay? The brain is no more the mind than your fingernail is. The mind is in every cell of the body. We're talking the mind, not the brain. We need an image. We need a picture that we can work off of. So let's go ahead and break this down, and let's look at what the mind looks like. So here we have one circle. We're going to call it the mind. And down below, we're going to draw a smaller circle called the body. That's because the body is the servant of the mind. I know this isn't how it actually is, but it's just how we're going to draw it. Now, in the middle of the top circle, we're going to put a line. On the top half, we're going to have the conscious thinking mind, and on the bottom half, we're going to have the subconscious emotional mind. Now, here's the part that I really want you to make sure you're understanding. It is vital that you understand this point that I'm about to tell you. If you don't understand this, the rest of the lesson is going to be lost on you. So make sure right this very moment I have your full and undivided attention. Your thoughts in the conscious mind dictate the results that you get in your life, because the thoughts that you have in the conscious mind are passed on to the subconscious, and the subconscious cannot reject that which the conscious mind gives it. And once you become emotionally invested in that idea, the body will then take action, which, of course, once you take action, that is going to get you your results. What that means is the thoughts in the thinking mind that you carry around most of the time, whatever you focus on over time, will turn into the results in your life. You create everything first in your mind, then you create it in the real world. You don't have to do it consciously. It'll work perfectly fine on accident. Now, today, we're going to talk about this graphic right here. Now, those of you on TikTok, if you want to see this, you're going to have to come on over to YouTube to see this. You can go to youtube.com, type in Chris Terrell Coaching, and you'll see the graphics. This is a very graphic-intensive presentation. I don't know how to teach it without it. We're going to teach this right here. Now, let's explain what I mean by bondage, okay? Because this is something important to understand. So as I mentioned here on this picture of the mind, we have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and then the body. This is bondage. We have an X idea, we have X thoughts and emotions, and X thoughts and actions. We have the thoughts of, I'm a big person, I'm a fat person, I'm a dieter, I'm never going to lose weight and keep it off, which of course you've emotionally connected with, and you take actions that are in alignment with that. So again, X type thoughts, X is just a variable, like a formula, leads to X type emotions, which leads to X type behaviors, which gets us X type results. The thoughts, actions, and results are all congruent with each other. You are in bondage. When you are living this way, it is very easy to live this way. Very, very, very easy to live this way. Many of you watching right now, you are in bondage to your thinking. You are in bondage to your results. Everything is consistent and you're not going to change it. Now, let's talk about reason. This is the next phase. And this is the part where a person begins to consider new things, because we have this why idea, this new idea, the idea we've never thought of before. It doesn't matter where it came from. It just came from somewhere. And this why idea is implanted into the conscious mind. Maybe you read it in a book. Maybe you heard something on a YouTube Live like today. Maybe you were talking to a friend. You read something on a Reddit thread. It doesn't matter. You got a new idea that is different than what you've always done. Like, maybe I could track calories. I've never considered tracking calories before. Maybe I could lose weight. I've been wanting to lose weight. Maybe I'll try this idea from Chris. I've been thinking about joining the guild. I don't know. That's a scary thing. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and go for those next 10 pounds. Maybe I'm going to give up eating this food in this way. I don't know. It's just a new idea. The problem is, subconsciously, in your paradigm, you're still sticking with the old X-type emotions. You're still sticking with the old X-type ideas. It's like, I want to track calories, but inside you're like, well, no, we don't track calories. Why would I want to track calories? Calorie tracking is for disordered eating people, and I'm not a disordered eater, right? You just have these different of ideas fighting, which, of course, the behaviors are still going to be in alignment with your subconscious, and if the behaviors are X-type behaviors, you're going to get X-type results. And this is okay. It's just a new idea. It's just a new idea. You don't got to do it. You can hear new ideas all the time. It doesn't mean you got to do anything with it. Okay? But let's say that new idea, let's say it sticks around. Well, now we're into the conflict phase. The conflict phase. This is a very important phase because you see that Y idea is starting to take root in the conscious mind. It's starting to hang around there a little bit more often for whatever the reason is. It's just starting to really visit there all the time. Maybe you're triggering it. Maybe you're seeing it all the time. Maybe you've begun associating with a powerful community like the Guild, and the Guild is regularly giving you ideas to try, and you're beginning to feel a little peer pressure, and you're like, well, you know, I keep saying I can't take 5,000, 7,000 steps a day, and yet I've seen 10 different people today in the Guild who got 50 pounds on me, and they're out there taking 10,000 steps a day, every day, and I'm over here making a bunch of bullshit excuses. Maybe I could do something. Maybe I could go take more than 5,000 steps a day. Maybe I could. And you're really starting to get emotionally connected with that idea. You're letting it get into that subconscious. The problem is also in the subconscious is the old way, the old belief, the old ego. I don't do this. I'm too big to take over 5,000 steps a day. It hurts too much when I do it. It's easy when others do it, but I can't do it because of this reason, that reason, and this reason. But this new idea, it's still floating in there. And you've got these two ideas that are at odds with each other. Here's the thing that's crazy about weight loss. You will often be of two minds of a thing. You will often want to eat the food and not want to eat the food at the same time. You will often want to exercise and not want to exercise. I mean, genuinely, truly want to do it and genuinely and truly not want to do it at the same time. You will genuinely want to continue your weight loss quest, and you will generally want to say, fuck this. You will want those both at the same time. That is normal. That is what's happening right here. And if you let that keep happening, worry and doubt is going to show up in your mind. Fear will show up right here. This is where fear shows up. When these two ideas are in the mind and they're conflicting, fear is going to get right in the middle and shake things up. And if you let the fear live there unchecked, that's going to manifest as anxiety in the body because the body is where you feel the emotion of fear. And when you're trying to progress through this barrier that's standing in front of you of what you're trying to get, the fear's going to build and build and build, and you are just going to go running back to bondage. You're going to give up that diet. I can't do this. I can't take all these steps. I can't count these calories. I can't lose another pound. You're going to get terrified, and you're going to go running back to where you came from. A wise man by the name of C.S. Lewis, he figured this out. Let me tell you what he had to say about it. A familiar captivity is frequently more desirable than an unfamiliar freedom. Many of us will choose to be overweight and choose to stay fat because thinness and the lifestyle that comes with it is unfamiliar. It doesn't make sense. It's not my normal. It feels weird. It feels wrong. And we will often go running back to that which is comfortable. The reality as a human, you have a choice. At all times, you have choice. Let's look at the one-hand side. Ignorance. And on the other side, we have knowledge. Now, ignorance isn't an insult, just means you don't know something. A lot of us, unfortunately, have somewhere along the lines have mistook ignorance for stupid. No, you can't fix stupid. If you're stupid, if like your brain just don't work, well, that's the brain you got, right? But ignorance, a lack of knowledge, being incompetent, that can be fixed. That's solvable. And I'm ignorant of all sorts of things. Like I'm completely ignorant of how to program an iPad. And I have every intention of staying ignorant to that. I'm totally okay with it. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. But it's important to know if you're ignorant. Now, when you are ignorant to something, when you don't know what's going to happen, that's where fear shows up. Fear shows up in the unknown in the mind. Now, what precedes fear? It's doubt and worry. There's something you are doubting, and there's something you are worried about in the mind. Normally, the conscious mind. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, if I track calories and I do this, what's going to happen? Oh, I got to eat this. It's more calories than I'm supposed to have. What's going to happen? Oh, I didn't take my steps today. What's going to happen? What if? But we're slanting it to the negative and letting fear paint it in. And the challenge is we emotionally feel the fear. But how do we feel it in the body? When the fear is left unchecked, allowed to run rampant, constantly filling in terrifying futures, you will begin to feel anxiety. Anxiety in the body is nothing more than doubt and worry run amok in the conscious mind. Just run amok. And if that anxiety is left unchecked, that will lead to depression. It will lead to dis-ease, not disease, but dis-ease, and ultimately disintegration of the idea. Whatever it is that you're trying to go for, you'll quit. Oh, I want to lose weight. This is where the idea will disintegrate. If you let doubt and worry live on your mind for too long, that will turn into fear. And if you let the fear run unchecked in your mind, that will turn into anxiety. And if you let the anxiety run rampant within the body, that will lead to depression, disease, and disintegration of the idea. You will begin to no longer care. And you will willfully walk away from your dream, convincing yourself you don't want it. Go look up the parable of the sour grapes. Now, on the knowledge side, if you have the doubt and worry, you offset this with study and understanding. Now, many people will get stuck here in the study and understanding phase with the false assumption that if I can study my way out of this, and you can, the problem is, it's a little side tangent, many people are trying to learn how to lose weight only by reading and listening and watching. There's much that you can only learn through experience. As an example, you can only learn what salt tastes like by tasting salt. You have to learn it experientially. It's the only way you can learn it. There's a lot about weight loss, a lot about you as a person that you can only learn the same way, through experiencing it yourself. So your study and understanding needs to include experiential study and understanding, practical application. But you study and understand the thing that you're looking for. This is why it might be helpful to have a model that is successful. It might be helpful to have a coach or a mentor or a therapist or an expert in your pocket. Then you need to have faith. But faith in what? Faith in who? You see, and I'm not talking blind faith. Blind faith is worth bupkis. The moment it gets hard, you'll abandon blind faith. No, you need faith based in understanding. Faith in yourself. Faith in you. Faith in your own innate greatness. That's what you need faith in. The opposite of fear is faith. Faith in your ability. When you have faith in yourself and you have study and understanding, you will feel physically a state of well-being. You might describe it maybe even at peace, so to speak. When you are in a well-being state, when you're at a state of peace and joy with your life, you will accelerate towards your goals. Your goals will actually come to you easier because you are at ease. Creation more easily finds you. And make no mistake, the body and life of your dreams is an act of creation that you are creating. Now, let me give you some tips, some practical tips you can do to help you actually accomplish this. When you hit this terror barrier, this wall of fear that you're going to go running towards, let me give you some tips. The first one is focus on smaller units of time. Often you'll find you're getting worried, you're getting overwhelmed, you're wanting to quit the journey. It's because you're focusing on the whole journey. You're focusing on 100 pounds. You're focusing on losing 50 pounds. I am an ultramarathon runner. I like to run marathons. Here's what I've learned about the distance endurance sports. You do not focus on how big it is. If I set off on a marathon and focus on the fact I'm about to run 26 miles, I'll quit because it's overwhelming. I focus on running the next 4 miles. Sometimes I'm focusing on running for the next 2 minutes because that's about all I can mentally handle. So if you find that you are getting stressed and worried, ask yourself, how far into the future am I casting my mind? How far into the future am I looking? If you see you're going beyond a day or two, perhaps bring your focus back to today and tomorrow, and that's about it. I want you to live your day in 24-hour cycles, and that will begin to make the days far more manageable in your mind. The next one is I want you to cultivate increased trust in your own ability to handle tough situations through small wins. I want you to find the teeny tiny wins. I want you to stack the deck in your favor and go get a win and then give yourself credit for it and then repeat the process. The more wins you get, the more your self-esteem and self-confidence is going to improve. As your self-esteem and self-confidence improves, it makes it a lot easier to move towards your goals. And I want you to cultivate this trust by chasing teeny tiny wins. Teeny tiny wins. And I want you to perform tasks that increase self-confidence. There's all sorts of tasks that increase self-confidence. Of course, the teeny tiny wins one that I just gave, that would do it. Another one is watching your self-talk. How do you communicate with yourself all the minutes of all the days? All of them matter. The way you talk to yourself all the time matters. There is no situation where the way you talk to yourself does not matter. You are always listening to yourself. So you could adjust your self-talk, which would improve your self-confidence. I also would encourage you to get specific about your learning. Stop learning about weight loss. That's too broad. Get specific. Learn about fiber. You've heard people talk about fiber all the time. When was the last? How many hours have you spent learning about fiber? I'm willing to bet for many of you, the answer is less than 5 minutes. You have spent less than 5 minutes actively researching and learning about fiber. Instead of going to Google and doing some learning on your own, you're going to TikTok and just hoping you happen upon a video that tells you something useful. That's luck. Stop trying to get success by coincidence and instead become successful by intention. And the way you're going to do that is to get specific with your learning. You have to discover what it is that you're doing wrong. You have to discover what result it is you're not getting. You have to find something you don't know about. And if you think you know everything, if you're acting like you know exactly what to do and all this is just a willpower problem, you're not going to learn anything. You must become very specific about what your problem is and learn how to find information. The next thing you must do, and this one's super important, is find others in the world who have conquered the fear that you are facing and model them. If you want to skydive, you learn how to skydive from skydivers because they've already know how to do it. They know how to do it technically, and they know how to overcome the emotional side of it. If you want to learn how to do anything, you should learn it from people that already do it because they know how to do it technically and emotionally. That's why I hope you'll learn weight loss from me because I've been there. It doesn't need to be just me specifically. I hope you learn weight loss from people like me, people that were overweight, people that had the battle, and people that figured out how to get to the other side. Because we've done the mental and emotional part. I felt the fear that comes from walking this journey. Why do you think this slide deck exists? It's because I wanted to understand what was happening inside of my mind. And I want to teach it to you. You must find those who have conquered the fear and model them. Now, I teach people modeling inside the guild. You must also practice remaining calm. Practice remaining calm. Practice like an instrument. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at doing it. And don't just practice being calm when it's easy. Practice being calm when it's difficult to do so. Find a stressful situation and practice being calm in that stressful situation. That is going to help you on your weight loss quest. You can utilize breathing techniques. You can utilize different distraction methods, and you can utilize the power of effective questions. Effective questions is something I teach in the guild as well. You can change the rules or your expectations. Look, expectations are nothing more than premeditated discouragements. If you want to push through the terror barrier, you're going to need to shift your thinking to a place where expectations are not required for progress. A lot of people won't move forward without an expectation. The challenge is you're opening yourself up for fear. You're opening yourself up for discouragement. You are the one that sets the expectations. You'll often find you can eliminate the fear by dropping the expectations in your mind. Whoops. 1 second. So what we then do, this is the situation we've described, the why idea. You have the why idea in your subconscious and all sorts of conflict and hell is being created inside of your mind. But if you do those techniques that I was talking about and move forward with faith in yourself, giving it everything you've got, gaining understanding of yourself in the situation every step of the way, you will push through your maximum fear and make your way to freedom. That's what will happen. But and as you make it to the other side, here's the crazy thing. The why becomes the bondage, and now you're repeat the process all over again. This is a repetitive cycle that you will do over and over and over again. Now, this is something you will probably, that little snippet, you'll have to watch multiple times to get it. I just zipped right on by. Depending on your level of understanding of mindset work, you you will pick up different parts of what I was talking about here with this. I studied this concept for a year in an attempt to understand everything there is about it. But here's what I know. Fear is what will tell you the direction to go. I once thought that fear, I'm supposed to move away from fear. The reality is I should be moving towards my fear. When I move towards my fear, that is where success is found. If I move away from my fear, I'm taking the safe route. Winning doesn't happen by always taking the safe route. There's no risk over there. Low risk, low reward. If you want to get the big rewards, you got to be willing to take some risks. And if you're going to take some risks, you got to be willing to face your fear. And if you're going to face your fear, you have to live from a place of courage. And to live from a place of courage, you must practice the techniques I was talking about in the slide earlier, utilizing things like watching your self-talk. As you change how you talk about yourself, you will begin to live your life from a different state of being. Instead of living your life from a state of guilt, a state of shame, a state of worry, a state of doubt, fearful of what's happening, you can live your life from a place of courage. Because courage is so important. It doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you feel the fear and act anyway. That's the important part. That's why I want you to be courageous. It's why I call my guild the Guild of Champions, because a champion is courageous. A champion feels fear and acts and moves towards their dream anyway, and a champion is a winner. Champions are the champ. They're the top. They won. You're not a champion until you've lost the weight and kept it off. The whole point of the journey is to let the champion out. That's what you're doing. We're all a champion already. We're just letting that side out of us. We're taking all the chains that are holding us down and releasing our own greatness that is already there. It's already there. You don't have to do anything to make it. You just have to stop doing the things that are keeping you held down and shifting how you see yourself. And that's what this is all talking about. Now, this is just one thing that I just covered here with the guild. We crack all this open. Every little line in there, we flesh it out and explain it all. You've got years worth of learning. So if you are looking to get some more mindset coaching, some more mindset teaching, and you want to be part of a community of people that are just as serious, I want you to check out the guild. That's theguildofchampions.com. There's a video there that'll teach you all about it. That's my program. Now, if you're not looking to do that, I'm going to wrap up here. You can go check out my podcast. I just dropped a new episode on Friday. There's 165, 167 episodes or something like that right now. And if you what I want that to help you with is giving you that total immersion. For you to get the success, for you to change your thinking and change your mindset, you need total immersion. You need to completely immerse your mind in your goal and what you're trying to do. And that means downloading things into your ears often, using the time in your car, using that time getting ready in the morning, using that time winding down for the day while you're cooking dinner, in between tasks. You need something in your ear, pumping new content, pumping a new idea into your mind, giving you new mindsets. The podcast is your answer to that. You can be listening to something all the time. It's the podcast I wished existed on my own journey. I didn't know of one, so I made it, and I made it for you. Because one of the things I realized on my journey is success leaves clues. And I decided to find that trail of breadcrumbs that led to success and follow it. But it was a really hard trail to follow sometimes. It got really confusing. And so what I'm attempting to do is rather than leaving a trail of breadcrumbs to success, I'm trying to leave whole damn loaves of bread. That way it's a very easy trail to follow and you're plenty nourished the entire way. That's what the guild is designed to do. That's what the podcast is designed to do. That's what the Facebook group is designed to do. It's all designed to give you a clear path to follow on the way to success. It's not about getting you there faster. That's not my objective. My objective is not to help you lose weight quick. My objective actually is to help you lose weight slowly. Like, slower the better. Like a pound a week sounds great to me. The reason why I want you to do that is I know you need years to change your thinking. I'm talking about changing your life. I'm not talking about losing 100 pounds. No. I'm talking about changing your life. That takes time. And you need time to do it. And also you need a community of people that are also trying to change their life so that you don't feel so damn crazy. Because you're going to feel crazy with a lot of the things you're doing. Because you're going to be the only person in your world that's doing it. And you're going to feel like you're going against your tribe. And you need to have other people that you can talk to be like, I'm not crazy. Okay, you're running into this too. Cool. This is just a natural part of the transformation. And I want to teach you everything that you need to know. So if you want to make sure to stay informed, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell anytime I go live. You can also join my free Facebook group by going to christarocoaching.com. You can find a link to that there, and I post there regularly. You'll find a great group of people there, and I announce whenever I do live streams there as well. And, of course, the guild also is available. All right, welcome to the end of the live stream, everybody. Let's go take a look at some of the comments here from the presentation I was just giving. Is this CBT? Yes. Some of what I was talking about is utilizing concepts from CBT, but it is not CBT specifically. And let's see. Holly, this is where I'm at, 100% in conflict. That's what my question referred to earlier. I'll have to go see what she was, that question. I'm afraid I'm not strong enough to do this. With small victories help to reduce fear. Yep, the small victories is really key, I've realized. It's really, really key, these small victories. If you see this, was all the knowledge learned after you'd lost the weight or doing so? It's so helpful. So what I covered today, I learned after. So this was like understanding what fear was doing in my brain. I sort of like could understand it, but I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know how to explain it. And there was a lot of gaps in my understanding. Like I didn't understand why it was so hard to change. I didn't understand why fear was continually rising within me throughout this journey. What I talked about today is what helped me understand it. Winks, smaller units of time. Yes, the smaller units of time is a really powerful technique. That's something mentioned here in this book, Psycho-Cybernetics. Actually, one of these tabs here. It's one of my most referenced parts of the book because I have found it to be very, very true. Dr. William Osler, author of A Way of Life, said that one simple habit, which could be formed like any other habit, was the sole secret of his happiness and success in life. Think about that. This person says this technique that I'm about to read is the sole secret to happiness in life. When I read that, I was like, that's a bold claim to make. But I wonder, what if it's true? What if this thing I'm about to read could actually lead to more happiness in life? And so I put it to the test. I read it and I decided to live my life this way. And I've been doing it now for years and I don't have any intentions of stopping because it truly has made my life happier than I've ever been in my life. So let me read it. Live life in day-tight compartments, he advised his students. Look neither forward nor backward beyond a 24-hour cycle. Live today as best you can. By living today well, you do the most within your power to make tomorrow better. And that's what I've realized it is. Just take it a day at a time. Truly, do whatever it takes to keep your mind in the present. And all of this entire journey just becomes so much more manageable. Bree, no growth comes from comfort. Preach. Preach. So true. Jenny, no pain, no gain. I mean, that is true. That is true. You got to have some pain. Marlo, wow. You answered my exact question about fear and brain chatter for my losing the last 10 pounds. Tired of feeling crazy. This helps so much. Well, Marlo, I'm glad to hear that. Got a bunch more of where this came from in the guild. Like 200 hours of this stuff. Really breaking it down. So if you want to learn how your brain works, and I'm adding some great people to the team. Oh, I'm so excited for the stuff coming this year. So excited. And we got some powerful seminars that I'm planning. Anyway, it's excellent. Oh, Alicia just asked what book this is. It's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by author Maxwell Maltz. All right, this brings us to the end of today's live stream. Thank you so much, YouTube. I love seeing you here every Monday. If you want to see me here next Monday, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you do not miss any live streams in the future. Would hate for you to miss that. And also you on TikTok, if you want to come subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get notified as well. And if you're in the free Facebook group, you'll get notified there also. I'd like to make sure you're notified when I'm going live. And it's usually we take some questions and then we do some training because my dad always taught me never leave people without teaching them something. And so I'm going to follow that principle. I'm going to do my best every time I see you to teach you something. Have a great day. And those of you in the guild, see you at noon for our group coaching program. Can't wait to see you. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait. I want some outro music. Let's do some outro music. How about the podcast? Yeah.